A wonderful thing happens when people come to Koinonia. We extend our worship life and our community. We leave the middle of the city from where we've been nurtured and been involved in all kinds of learning. And we come to this place and our hearts slow down and our rhythm slows down and our spirit slows down. And we're able to connect to the earth and the lake and the trees and the sound of the wind. We have a deeper experience of our own spiritual lives.
Koinonia is hugely important to Hennepin for a variety of reasons. There's one that stands out to me so strongly today, and that is that the church, as we practice worship today, is largely an indoor experience. And it's disconnected in many ways with, it's not so disconnected with the outside world because we do lots of community service, but it's disconnected with the created world and the creation. And I can't think of anything more important today than finding ways to connect faithful folks who are worshiping with the creation that surrounds us.
I was a counselor for 2 years out at Koinonia. Really, a couple of the best years of my life, really. You know, I remember thinking, wow, if I could only do this for the rest of my life, I would be happy. It was just a way for me, because of all the experiences that I'd had as a kid, it was my opportunity to do the same thing for kids coming up that were younger than me, to provide the same kinds of formative experiences that I had when I was a camper.
Well, we always feel very refreshed. We've been coming out of here many, many years since our kids were little kids. And that's a key part of knowing people at church, because you have other families out here and you get to know their kids and they get to know your kids, you get to know the parents. And so when we come back home afterwards, we're always feeling very refreshed, and it's a new lift in our lives.
In the summertime, we have, you know, the whole beach stuff, the canoes, the paddle boats, fishing on the pontoons. There's a wonderful fire pit. That's another type of fellowship and gathering. And the lodgings are beautiful. The environment's beautiful. This is God's place.
We need to find ways for people to differentiate this from a Sunday morning hour or from wonderful classes. We need the emotional commitment that really comes, I think, often from those retreat experiences, getting away, getting apart. And I don't think it has to be just people with children. It can be anyone who is looking for something but searching widely rather than deeply.
We connect with God here, and not only in the environment and all that's happening, but with one another. And I've been here watching generations connect across the age spans. Everybody's children become everybody's children. And grandmas and grandpas and moms and dads and children all connect in ways that are significant and are an expression of our spiritual lives as God's people.
When you're together in larger groups over an extended period of time, where you stop just the polite, how are you, fine. Sometimes we see each other, but we don't see each other. We see each other, but we don't know each other. We don't understand the journey that we're on until we're together for a little more extended period and start to share more deeply.
And so when I think of Hennepin Church in terms of two campuses, we have a fabulous campus here, a church that we celebrate and has beautiful stained glass windows and is just so striking. And then we have a little paradise out in the countryside that's on a lake that has birds around it all the time and is simply beautiful. And what we gain spiritually differs dramatically between those two places. To give up Koinonia at this time and place in our history seems so foolish because we desperately, desperately need a connection with nature.
Program is essential. And I think it's exciting that Koinonia is, and the church are looking to actually raise funds specifically for program, because the facility is a part of the experience, but just a part. The discipline of regularly reinvesting in the property prevents some of the large maintenance issues, and also retains the loyalty of those of the guests, so that you don't have to kind of reinvigorate and renew. You actually sustain, and that's what I think the new program is going to do.
I think that the kids' favorite thing about Camp Sunfish was just doing things they had never done before. You know, a lot of them had never left the city before. This is the first fish I've ever caught. This is the first lake I've ever swum in. And I always talked about how it was sort of nice, because a lot of times these were the kids on the outside looking in at all the other kids that got these kinds of opportunities. And really, this was a day where other kids would look at them and say, wow, look what they get to do. The name of Koinonia, Koinonia Retreat Center. Retreat, that was what these kids had an opportunity to do. They had an opportunity to retreat, to step back from what could be a very difficult, trying time in their lives, where they were apart from their families, and they could just be.
Unless the activity becomes central rather than an appendage, I think you will struggle in the next 50 years to make Koinonia as relevant and to contribute as much to the future of the church as it has the potential. I truly believe it has the potential to do it, but it's going to require sophistication in developing the plan. It's going to require real commitment from the congregation, but most of all, it's going to require real commitment from the leadership of the church in terms of the staff.
When I think of going to Koinonia, I think of a phrase like being one in the Spirit together, and being more open to listening and to hearing what someone else or what God or what the natural world is trying to say to us. That's what makes Koinonia an even more special place, because it enables us to do that.